What is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video I want to do another write with me. I'm working on my book Operation Blue Age of Dodge, and I wanted to put a little time in before I end up because if you hadn't noticed, I was putting up a couple of videos, getting videos ready on the channel, so I'm actually happy that I'm being consistent with that. But any updates before I get started? Um, I'm actually one third of the one. No, one. What? I'm on page 47 out of 176 of editing. Going back, refining some of the dialogue, moving characters around, introducing some characters, and pushing a couple more to the back. Um, it's right now. I'm meshing my superhero and military, trying to get my superhero side of it and the military side to kind of be a little bit more better cohesive than previously. Oh, anyways, the light was just being too damn distracting, so I figure I might have to just start using the sunlight to actually shoot videos because this light up here is just constantly flicking, and we need to go get the apartment manager to see what's happening up there. But so I think this actually looks a bit better. I have my window right here, and I have that light right there, so it looks actually pretty good, pretty clear. Let me move things around just a little bit. Normally I would push my laptop back to make room for my mic, and when I'm not on here streaming videos or anything, I'm actually I have the mic to the side and put the laptop up here. So one of the things I guess I wanted to talk about is the process in which I don't know what that is. What is this? Okay. One of my processes that I've learned, initially I sent this book off to an editor that I found on Fiverr, with a bit of military background to her profession. So okay, because this is primarily it is half military, I wanted to get her opinion on it. So she edited it. Took her 20 days, and sent it back to me. And I also had another editor edit the web. So I really like that. Of course, I don't have the financial backing like that, so I hadn't been able to go fully edit like that. But I've been editing, me and my wife. My wife been helping me with this. She's an avid reader, and she's been getting familiar with my work, so she's been helping me with my editing. And when I'll be able to generate some income from this, I'll start using the editor again for some of the bigger projects. But um, she utilized the system, and I kind of adopted that system because one thing I would do was I would write my story. Then when I go back and edit it, I would edit the initial draft instead of making copies. Now what I do is I make a draft, and save a new draft as the edit to that draft. Make my edits, then go back, save it as a draft, and do and implement the edits. And that way, I always have a copy of the original draft just in case I want to go back and re-look at some of the work that I have. And then now, yeah, I think they said there's supposed to be three ways that you're supposed to edit, or three times. Line edit, development edit, something like that. It was three of them. Unfortunately, maybe that just kind of ain't my thing. I typically now I try not to edit as I do a good job of not editing as I write, so that's that. But now when I do it, I typically kind of edit everything as I go. So dialogue, line placements, taking out, removing things, adding things. So that's kind of what I've been doing now. There's a scene where one of my young superheroes is talking to some soldiers, and one of those soldiers initially wasn't a part of the group. Initially, during the third act, she was introduced, but now, upon further thoughts on it, I decided to bring that character in earlier with this group. So that way, like we're doing the second act, so that way we can get a bit familiar with her until the last act. So, and again, dialogue is something I've been working on as well. It's supposed to be, I'm supposed to be trying to get this thing published by the end of the year, and it's already the 7th. So, uh, cross my fingers on that. But I guess we can go ahead and start. Um, I do not know how to add the music to it, so yeah. Dang, I wish I'd figured out how to do this. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know how to do it right now. Anyways, we will start little 15-minute sprint about now. Yeah, 15-minute sprint, and we'll reconvene, talk about some more stuff. Starting now. You know what? It'd help if I actually use my phone. I actually find that it's actually kind of helpful to actually kind of do it like this because I'm kind of putting my feet to the fire. And it's not to say that I don't work on things when I'm not online or doing these videos, but I think it's, I don't know, something stimulating about it. All right, 15 minutes now. Okay. Add some more yelling. Always trying to capture the chaos of those moments. So, okay. Cool. Right now, we're in the middle of kind of this battle sequence where good guys have cornered one of the characters that's in the midst of everything that's going on, and it's this really big battle. So I'm trying to balance out the superpower aspect as well as like the military aspect. It's one thing when you're watching like the Justice League and they're fighting Steppenwolf, and they're using, Flash is using his powers, Batman, Aquaman, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, they're all using their powers and stuff. But how would the fight go if, you know, it was Batman, Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and it's like four or five like Marines with them. How would they attack? How would they coordinate? They couldn't physically fight the character because his super strength and godlike status. But how would they use guns? How would they shoot? Stuff like that. So it's a pretty interesting and pretty fast paced sequence, and I'm trying to make sure that there's a lot of characters and there's a lot going on. So there is a bit more balance with that. Because one of the things that I initially had started with this book was, okay, it was a group of superheroes that just kind of came together and they had to deal with this threat that's happening. But then I felt like I wanted it to be a little bit more grounded. So it's like, why not have them work with the military? That it seemed like something that would actually be a thing. I don't want to say I didn't get the idea from the Avengers, but kind of how the superheroes, because usually when we watch superhero films, Justice League War, the Avengers, Justice League, Zack Snyder's version of it, you see the superheroes acting independent of like the military. Well, in my book, I'm like, well, there's this threat that's going on. The military is going to be there because you know, even when you look at the Avengers, you're like, well, yeah, it's cool seeing the superheroes fight these threats, but I'm like, no, the military, especially if there's an invading army, would be there too. And maybe it'd be like, okay, cool, if the military or the National Guard or whatever were able to set up like a line around the area where the superheroes was fighting, that'd have been kind of cool too. But I looked at films. I looked at the superhero battle films like city battle films. And then I looked at military battle films, like fighting aliens or monsters in the city and stuff. And I basically am mashing them together. So that was actually a pretty interesting experience as well. Really, the best military movie that's like that, where you see them actually in a city fighting aliens or monsters. I could say the Tomorrow War, but I haven't seen it. I really do need to watch it because I like Chris Pratt. But was Battle Los Angeles. So I looked at how the military. I mean, to say whatever you want about the movie, I actually like it. It's cool seeing a military squad dealing with aliens in like a city environment and how they deal with the different locations. They had the initial fight in the neighborhood, then they had the fight at the on the bridge. So different environments and stuff like that. So I looked at that, and I looked at a couple more movies, action sequences like that. Hell, Dragon Wars. That movie sucks. It's a bad movie. I don't care what nobody says, but and the CGI and stuff just stupid. It's a stupid movie. But the end fight where you see the military fighting this army of otherworldly dragon creatures and stuff was another thing that I looked at. So I was using those two things to kind of mesh them together, and of course, superhero inspiration for the superhero bits, and just learning how to see how these things will kind of work together. Um, so I'm moving characters around again. I'm getting more into the bulk of the action. Uh, I wanted to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it. It seems like I guess after I publish it, then I could start going back and do like, okay, this is more of the behind the scenes things that I wanted to do with my book, and this is the characters. This is why I chose this character, and what I'm saying, I really want to get into that, but I'm trying to wait till the end. And it's crazy. I actually had started working on the sequel. I was probably about 2/3 of the way through the sequel on the initial draft. So as soon as I get done with this, not only do I have the Curse of Creed Chronicles books that I was working on, but I also had the sequel to this book already, and I've already somewhat planned. I kind of want to. What is it? How would you say this? I kind of want to say I planned for a not really. I guess it is a sequel, but it's also a midquel. Basically, it's following another character during the events of the sequel book. So you have this following the superheroes. The sequel follows the superheroes, and then there's another story that's kind of in between slash during the events of the sequel, but it's following a different character. And I really want to talk about the sequel, but I'm not going to yet. But just let you know, I've already got the sequel mapped out, characters. I and what's kind of cool too is I was talking to the missus, and there were characters that I took out of this from this book. I took them out of the sequel, but now I thought about it, and it was, what she said made sense, and the editor also kind of mentioned something along the lines of this as well. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put those characters back. It's going to change the dynamic of the story so much. And I think it's also going to help with more of the character development. So there is that. I've always tried to make the characters be the sole focus of it. And this, I don't know how people feel about it, but I always think it's kind of a good balancing act between characters and plot. I don't want my characters to be doing these things because the plot tells them to do it, but at the same time, but if something is happening, I want the characters to step up to it, but I want to also kind of be able to choice. So there is that. That's something I am trying to balance out. The characters are here for a reason, not solely because of what is going on that's making them do it. That's one reason I looked at when I looked at Justice League, when I look at the Avengers. I'm like I see how these why they're together. It's partially because something that is happening, but I guess you could say it's partially. I guess with a team up like this, I guess it's a necessity of you coming together, but it also the stakes that you have in it as well. And I guess it's partly because hey, the characters join this group because of their own specific reasons, but it also because of them having skin in the game in some kind of capacity. And maybe that's an either or thing because what's happening now wasn't they didn't know was originally happening, so they couldn't have gotten together because of that. But they all had their reasons for joining. So I did want to make that clear. But let me see. We're gonna go for one more little 15-minute sprint, and I guess we'll call it a wrap. So we're starting now. Uh, really? I'm gonna have to see. We're gonna rewrite this one. Right. Okay. train. Okay. Got a little something, something that made it to page 50. Um, all right, so now we kind of winded down. And freaking train. I tried to mute this thing so you didn't hear the train, but um, that's what happens when you know live next to the freaking train track. But um, sitting here making away, and I do like some of the changes. There's some couple of things here that I do want to rewrite because I don't think it sounds right. But okay, I don't mind this. But yeah, yeah. I appreciate you taking the time out. If you have something that you're working on, hey, talk to me in the comment section. Let me know what you're working on. Any tips, or you like listening to music? You like being by yourself? Anything like that? Do you need background noise, like a movie or something? But okay, I'm starting to like this a little. You a little right with me is on point. I'm starting to like that. Yeah. But I'm guess I'm gonna end it right here for now. I'm about to get up and run the errand in a little bit anyway. But all right, in the comment section below, let me know what are your thoughts. Any tips, tricks, cheat codes? Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification button to get the best of what we got going on. We'll definitely catch you guys later.